So this is the Greenore Railway Saloon here in Dundalk. It's down just off Quay Street. Used to be the old industrial part of the town. There's windmill across the way, ports over the other side of the road. Fairly kind of standard stuff. There's just one thing that kind of sticks out about this place. It's not in Greenore, and it's not near a railway station at all. That's over the other side of town, and Greenore is about 20-30 kilometres away from here. You know, I've been in Dundalk a long time, been down this part of town loads. I've even been in this pub a few times, but I've never really asked, what's the story with the name? You know, during lockdown, spent a lot of time in Dundalk just kind of seeing what was here, because I was forced to just be here. You know, even walk the whole coast of the county, just kind of scraping away layers of what's here and what's there to see, what was here before. And this pub kept springing up, like, why is it called that? So I decided to look into it a bit more. So it turns out just across the street there's an old shop that I always knew as an old abandoned furniture shop, but that used to be the terminus station for the railway line that ran from Dundalk to Greenore and onto Newry, part of the GNR. Now the railway line's long gone, but there's still parts of it you can still see there. There's little avenues of trees out in the middle of nowhere that show where the railway line used to be. There's old station houses out along the peninsula, and there's even bridges kind of sticking out of the landscape. But till now I have never really pieced it together what had been there. The Great Northern Railway it dwarfs what we have in Ireland at the minute. You know, rail was everywhere. Now it just goes to show you back then how important a railway was. Like nowadays we just have the main corridor serviced with a few commuter towns, but back then it was vital to where people lived, and just to GNR was life changing for people in this part of Ireland, part of Dundalk. You know, think back to living in this part of Ireland back in the late 1800s. You lived like we did recently within, you know, a 20-kilometre radius. You know, you were born here, you went to school here, all your friends are from here, you played football here, you married here, you died here. And the whole railway line just completely opened everything up. All these trains were running through these little towns and villages, not even villages, into little parishes, and just completely transformed this whole region. So the trains left here down on Quay Street, crossed over into Cooley, Blurgin, Bush, to Greenore, Carlingford and Meath, and onto Newry, and people just absolutely love it. You know, it's still a really important part of the town today. Like Dundalk's away jersey this season is a tribute to the GNR. There's posters in town of the Great Northern Railway, and there's a mural in town all about this railway line that's long gone. So I'm going to walk the GNR as much as I can, much as I can find, from here in the Greenore Railway Saloon all the way out along the Cooley Peninsula down into Newry. Cheers. It's my cards.
Walking slow takes time. It's deliberate. Yeah, it's not the best when you're in a rush, but if you really want to get a feel for a place and let it sink into you and be part of it, then walking is the best. You smell where you are, feel the ground change under your feet, you hear what's going on in the bushes, and you see things that you normally zip by in the car. But since the railway line shut down here, all the railway sleepers and steel was taken up to reuse, and the bridge here crossing the River Flurry was knocked, so I have to get a bit creative to cross it. My mate Mac is coming along for the trip. Now he's real into his local history, and he knows a whole lot about the GNR, way more than me, and most importantly, he's got a fair idea of the way.
These tree-lined corridors are kind of the biggest mark of what was here before. They really just put like tunnel vision on, and it just shows you where the line used to be, and you can really imagine what it was like. So I've been to this section before. It's kind of like a little walk-through museum. There's old mile markers, there's the old gate onto the railway line, there's a bench here, and even a nice wee water tap up the way. And this section was what kind of really sowed the seed of doing this whole walk. It made the whole railway real. It kind of showed, because I've heard stories about it before, but this actually brought the pieces back into interaction with people around here. And this is kind of why I started to do this walk. We've come across Giles's Quay, not a station, it's a halt. So this was, not quite a station, it wasn't manned, it didn't have all the services here, it's more kind of, maybe it was just in operation during the summer months when everyone was heading out to the beach. And standing in here, and there's more sheep shit on the floor than the floor, so it's definitely been taken over. And it's just hidden completely underneath this big sycamore tree. Took a bit of finding to find it, but managed. And we're back in Greenore here to start day 2 of the Great Northern Railway walk. Yesterday was slow going. We did 24 kilometres in about 7 hours. Most of the day was spent trying to find the old railway line, just trying to spot the bridges on the maps and linking them up and looking for flat bits of land raised up off the ground. And it was slow going and we didn't make much headway at all, but today should be quite a bit different. Heading in here from Greenore, Carlingford, O'Meath and onto Newry, and this part of the railway line has actually kind of been taken back either formally or informally, so there's a much easier route to follow today. Now, there's no real bigger artefact of the Great Northern Railway than Greenore itself. This was one of Ireland's first purpose-built towns. It was built for the railway and for the port. It's a bit different. It's more like something that you find across the water in Northern Ireland. The terrace houses, and alongside the golf course there's kind of Victorian style houses. It's really an outlier here in County Louth. Since the GNR ended and was torn up, people kind of still held on to it a wee bit. Some of the infrastructure has been reused. I'm just outside the old Carlingford station here, which is now a tourist centre and a co-working space. And then the stretch from here into O'Meath is the Great Eastern Greenway. So the swaps east for north. So that's along the old railway track, and it's one of the biggest kind of tourist attractions in Carlingford itself now.
End of the line. That's it. That's this section of the Great Northern Railway line done, or at least the bits we could find and get to without annoying too many farmers. It's kind of crazy how quickly the line has disappeared. Even here in Newry, the old station isn't a prominent building in the centre of town. Much like other parts of the railway line, it's gone.
So I'm back home now after doing the walk. Did that about 2 weeks ago now, and find myself asking the question, why bother? You know, I can go to all those places in the car, just a matter of a few minutes, and I've been to the vast majority of them before. But that wasn't really the point of this walk. You know, there's a difference between going somewhere and being somewhere and experiencing it. You know, it's much more intentional, it's deliberate, and you experience it. It's kind of like how you see an archaeologist scraping away at layers of the ground, revealing a story of what was there before. And that's what I'm trying to do. When I started walking the coastal out, I was in places that I never knew even existed before. And I saw it from a whole new angle. And this walk was again just kind of exploring that a bit more. It's another process in the exploration of where I'm from. And so I'm going to keep scraping away, keep trying to find more, because I know there's always going to be something there.